Hey guys, it's Terin Humphrey from Humphrey's Gymnastics podcast. I'm a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, a 2-time Hall of Fame inductee, world champion, a 2-time NCAA champion, and owner of Humphrey's Gymnastics in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm striving for an enjoyable yet hardworking, safe environment to train towards college scholarships and youth activities. Be sure to check out my website at humphreysgymnastics.com, Facebook page, or Instagram. All ages and even some adult age programs are welcome. We will offer, of course, gymnastics, preschool, rec, and competitive, birthday parties, field trip, church group activities, dances, and much more. Contact us at info@humphreysgymnastics.com if you are interested in renting a space for your small business, whatever it may be. And join me every other week on my podcast on YouTube or Spotify at Humphrey's Gymnastics Podcast. Welcome to Humphrey's Gymnastics Podcast. Today I will be answering some general athlete coach questions, and I can't wait to start. Why is competitive gymnastics good for your child? It teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to travel. It just teaches you every aspect of your life and not just gymnastics. It teaches you how to be a good teammate. It teaches you how to have time management or how to juggle a bunch of things. So it's not just gymnastics, or it's just not just a sport. It's an overall grounding your little athlete to a very independent human being. Why does the philosophy of your gym matter? The philosophy of a coach is very important. You have to be able to relate to your athlete and your coach. You got to be able to work together, be on the same page. Not only do you spend lots and lots of time together, but you're growing together. You're growing as a coach together, and you're growing as an athlete. As you get older, you change, and so it's very important to be with a coach that's willing to help through those milestones and help through not just as a gymnast, but through life. What is the difference between for fun and competitive gymnastics? The difference between competitive philosophy and gymnastics philosophy is sometimes you have those gyms that are just all about it to win, which is great, but sometimes it may come at a higher cost. They may push a kid so hard that they get burnt out, or if they hurt themselves and they keep pushing through the pain. Having a gym for fun is you go in and they're too laxy-daisy. They go in and they just say, okay, what do you want to do today? It's important to have both, have, a competitive side, but have a little bit of downtime so your athlete can continue to grow and continue to have fun with the sport. Not every day is going to be fun and it's going to be repetitive, but you have to have a coach and a gym that understands that there's a time for play and there's a time for hard work. How can I talk to my kid's coach about setting realistic goals for my kid? That's a good one. You should just ask questions. Spend some time with your coach in the gym. Just ask them their background. Ask the coach what their goal is in the gym. I want to have a competitive program, but I also understand that there's more to life than just the sport. So if I were a new mom or someone looking for the right fit, don't be afraid to sit there for 10 minutes and just talk to your coach and just pick their brain. How should success be defined at different age and ability levels? This is kind of a hard question because not every athlete or not every kid develops the same. For me personally, I was really bad compulsory gymnast. So I did level 5 for 3 years. When I was able to do optional gymnastics, I was able to kind of show off my weaknesses more to make them better. If that's understandable, but it's very hard just to say this age is where you're supposed to be at, because that's not how it is at all. It is depending on what your goals with gymnastics are. If your goals are to be a level 10 gymnast and go to college, then you may want to do level 10 for 3 years. If you want to go elite gymnastics, you may want to be an elite gymnast by the age of 12. So it's very important as a coach, as an athlete, and as a parent to all be on the same page. How hard should I push my athlete if they're not developing the same as the fellow peers? That's a really good question. I think a lot of parents need to really sit back and say, is this my goal or is it my child's goal? I don't think you should push your kid at all if they're running behind, because again, this is gymnastics. You're the parent and the parent needs to be there for the kid. My parents were really good about sitting there and letting me just vent. And that was my safe spot. So, that they're already going through a lot of hard stuff. They're already being pushed by the coach. So just sit back, really listen, and really be the safe spot for your athlete. I was a competitive gymnast. How do I keep from pushing my child to reach my goals instead of theirs? This is an excellent question. The way I would put it is really sit down with your kid and have them write out their goals, and then realize, okay, wow, I was way above. I was thinking Olympics. They're just thinking high school gymnastics. I think it's really important to really talk to them about what they really want. They may want to try a different sport. They may not want to be in the gym as much, but it's like I said, communication is key, and really sit down and focus on what they want to accomplish, because it doesn't matter what you want to accomplish. You had your time. So we focus on the athlete and we focus on what they are in the here and the now. How can I define the difference between failures and teachable moments with my young gymnasts? So I'm going to tell a story. When I was 15 years old, I made the world team. I was almost, I felt like I was at my prime. I was working hard. Pretty much I was unstoppable. And the only reason you get taken off a team was if you're injured or sick. So I knew I had made the world team. When I got to California, Chelsea Memel ended up coming, and they took me off. The Olympic Committee took me off the world team. No explanation except for the fact they thought she would score better than me. Great, wonderful. I was heartbroken. I was sitting there on birthday watching the team train on podium. So at the time, I was like, wow, this is probably the worst birthday ever. But I sat there and I made a promise to myself. I said, if I'm going to continue with this sport, this will never happen again. I'm going to go into the gym and I'm going to show the committee, and I'm going to show that spot was mine and I deserved it. So although it was a failure in my mind, it was very teachable, because I knew I was working hard, but I wasn't working smart and I wasn't working efficiently. So I went back into the gym and I did 2 more of every numbers. My coach told me to do, 10 leg lifts. I did 12. She told me to do 10 routines. I did 11. She told me to stick 1. I stuck 3. So I was like, I made it to where I was competing with myself and myself only. And I was going to stick with my promise that nobody from there on out would ever take my spot. So how can you tell the difference? That's a really good question, and I'm not sure I know the answer. I know that everything happens for a reason, and always try to lift your gymnast spirits up. They may not have won state like they wanted, but there's something bigger. Like there's something bigger for next year. There's always an outlet. So really try to be supportive when they're down, because once they get back into the gym, they're gonna find something else to work for. How essential is talent to being successful in gymnastics? Okay, so this is a good one, because I was not talented at all. I was a very hard worker, and I will tell you, as a coach, as a gymnast, hard work will always beat talent. My child has two different coaches. One makes them start with skills they're great at, the other makes them start at skills they struggle with. Which method do you prefer and why? So you're going to have different types of coaches. And without actually being there, it's going to be tough to give you a direct question, a direct answer. However, I will say that neither one of them is wrong. I typically like to, knock out three good ones of what they're good at, and then spread the time with the weak skills. I think it's good to always have a target, and it's good to always be consistent with those skills. That coach may be wanting to eventually get that skill in their routine and not right away. So I think the balance is key. If it's an actual element that you need to get a score, then they may be trying to build that routine up. If it's a requirement, then unfortunately it's something that you have to have in your routine. So they may just, want to get that requirement. So in the long run, your score may not be, they're trying to get your score what it's supposed to be. So that one's a really hard question. So I would also say it just depends on the season, what season you're in as well. I really liked your interview with Mike Gillette. He talked about building up self-image. How can I help my child build their self-image on and off the mat? So when I was a gymnast and I competed, I struggled. I struggled a lot. I came from a gym that do a whole lot of mind practice. When I got a little bit older, my parents kind of recognized that I was really good gymnast, but I was simply like I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I would always make comments like I'm just really scared or nervous. I kind of had to figure out a way to work my mind, because your mind is a muscle as well. And like Mike said, your mind is 98% of how you're going to do at a meet. And it's 98% of if you're going to go for that skill. So I would always go home and I would practice my routines or practice my skill, my mind. So it's really important to practice your routines over and over in your head. Mike had a really interesting mind boss game. One time he had me wear this rubber band, and every time I thought about something negative, I would have to flick this rubber band on my wrists and not create pain, but create a reminder that says, oh, switch your mind back to positive thinking. So your brain is the same way. If your brain starts to work where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to fail. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. And it goes the wrong way that you don't want it to go to. Do something to remind you, hey, snap back out of it. Like I've done this a million times. I've done this routine 1,000 times, and it's my coach's job to prepare me. So I have to go in to this meet and I have to trust myself, and I have to trust that I'm ready. Of course, you're going to be nervous. There's no way around that. Every meet, you're going to be nervous. I was just as nervous in the Olympic Games as I was competing inside my own gym. It's important to really learn how to compete, and not many coaches know how to teach that. So you as parents have to be their teachers, and you have to remind them, hey, you've done this a million times. No reason to be scared. No reason. I've seen you do this millions of times. It's also important to really get the point at is I will love you no matter what. I will love you no matter what. I don't care if you go and bomb. Don't say that word, but just reiterate how much you love this kid, and this is just a sport. What traits should I look forward to know if my child is ready for competitive gymnastics? I think your child will let you know. They'll say, hey mom, like I'm ready to compete. Or your coach will. I think as a parent, you really don't have to worry about that. Your coach should be really good at communicating, and they should be really good about, okay, she's ready for the next level. These are the skills you need for the next level. Your kid's ready. So again, communication is key. What is your favorite moment so far as a coach? There are so many. I don't even think I can pinpoint one. I just really enjoy being there as a coach outside of gymnastics. For example, Lindsay Brown from University of Denver was at the gym that I coached at, and she came back and she was like, I need help getting ready to compete for Haiti. So I've really enjoyed figuring out ways to make their dreams come true. And if I could make a phone call for her to help her get her citizenship for Haiti or get her passport for Haiti and able to compete for the Olympic Games, that just means so much to me. And today she's competing at Pan Am's for Haiti. So I'm really excited for her. I'm excited as a coach to really see the progress these kids make over the years. And there's so many moments that I've just loved, and why I continue to coach and why I'm now opening my own gym. There's so many, and I want everybody who's in this position to really experience what I have. Thank you all for joining me today. I've had a great time answering all your questions. Be sure to send in more questions on my YouTube channel. You can also send me an email at podcast@humphreysgymnastics.com.
Hey guys, it's Terin Humphrey from Humphrey's Gymnastics Podcast. I'm a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, a 2-time Hall of Fame inductee, world champion, a 2-time NCAA champion, and owner of Humphrey's Gymnastics in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm striving for an enjoyable yet hardworking, safe environment to train towards college scholarships and youth activities. Be sure to check out my website at humphreysgymnastics.com, Facebook page, or Instagram. All ages and even some adult-age programs are welcome. We will offer, of course, gymnastics, preschool, rec, and competitive, birthday parties, field trip, church group activities, dances, and much more. Contact us at info@humphreysgymnastics.com if you are interested in renting a space for your small business, whatever it may be. And join me every other week on my podcast on YouTube or Spotify at Humphrey's Gymnastics Podcast.